All right, let's talk about cybersecurity. It's a world that can feel locked behind a bunch of complicated jargon, right? Well, today, we're going to crack that code. By the end of this, you won't just understand the language, you'll actually start to think like the people on both sides of that digital wall.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what's really going on inside a hacker's mind? What's their game plan? What makes them tick? It's a fascinating question, and honestly, getting inside their head is the #1 key to protecting ourselves.
Because that's really the heart of it. You can't just build a bunch of digital walls and hope for the best. No way. To build a real fortress, one that actually stands up to attacks, you have to know the attacker's playbook inside and out. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so we're going to start with the absolute fundamentals. I mean, before we can even talk about attackers or cool defense strategies, we have to understand the battlefield itself. What are the basic pieces that make up any cyber threat?
First up, the asset. This is pretty simple. It's the thing you're trying to protect. Let's think of it like your house. The assets are the valuables inside. Sure, your computer and your TV, but also the intangible stuff like your private data, your company's good name. It's the whole reason you have locks on your doors in the first place.
Next, we have a vulnerability. The official definition calls it a flaw or weakness that could be exploited. Back to our house analogy, this is the unlocked back door, the window you left cracked open, or maybe that spare key you hid under the welcome mat. It's a potential way in.
Now, an unlocked door is just an unlocked door, right? It isn't really a problem until there's a threat. A threat is that possible danger. It's the burglar walking down your street who happens to notice that open window. The threat is the danger itself, just waiting for an opportunity. And that right there brings us to risk. Risk is what connects everything. It's the actual chance that the burglar, our threat, is going to walk through that unlocked door, the vulnerability, and what the damage or the impact is going to be when they do.
So here's the crucial takeaway. It's this simple chain of events. You see it here. A threat, some bad actor, exploits a vulnerability to get to your asset. And that whole scenario is what creates risk. Getting this flow is like 90% of the battle. So now that we've got the basic terms down, let's meet the cast of characters. Who are these threat agents, these adversaries who are actually out there carrying out the attacks?
Well, they tend to fall into a few common categories. You've got your cyber criminals. Think of them as the professional bank robbers of the digital world. They are in it for the money. Then you have nation-state actors. These are your government spies conducting espionage online. Activists are like digital protesters, using their skills to push a political agenda. And last, you've got script kiddies. They're the amateurs using tools someone else built, but, they can still cause a whole lot of damage.
Okay, so we know the what and the who. Now let's get into the how. What does an attacker's playbook actually look like? What are their go-to strategies? Now this slide points out a really important distinction. We always picture hackers as these people launching attacks from the outside, right? But inside attacks, one started by someone already in the building, maybe a disgruntled employee, can be just as devastating, sometimes even more so.
Attacks also come in two main styles. A passive attack is basically digital eavesdropping. Someone's trying to listen in and learn information without changing a thing. It's super sneaky and really hard to spot. An active attack, on the other hand, that's straight-up sabotage. They're trying to alter or break the system, and that usually makes a lot more noise.
And under that active attack umbrella, you've got a few classic moves. A replay attack is like recording you unlocking a door and just playing it back later to get in. A masquerade is just putting on a digital disguise, pretending to be someone you're not. Modification is when someone intercepts a message and changes it. And a denial of service attack? That's like causing a giant traffic jam so no one can get to where they need to go.
Okay, that was a lot of doom and gloom, I know. We've seen the threats, the bad guys, and their methods. So the big question is, how do we fight back? How do we write our own security playbook to defend our fortress? The key word here, the one you really need to know, is control. That's the official term for any defense you put in place. It can be an action, a piece of tech, a new rule, anything you do that's designed to reduce risk. And these controls basically fall into three main buckets. You've got administrative controls. Those are your policies, the house rules that everyone has to follow. Then there are technical controls, which is the technology you use, like a firewall or an alarm system. And finally, physical controls are the things you can actually touch, like the locks on the doors and security guards.
But here's the thing. A really strong defense isn't just one thing. It's a whole team of controls, and each one has a different job.
Preventive controls are like the locks on the door. They stop things before they start. Detective controls are your alarm system. They tell you when something bad has happened. Corrective controls are your plan to fix things after a break-in. And deterrent controls, those are the beware of dog signs. You absolutely need a mix of all of them to be secure.
So there you have it. We've gone from understanding the attacker's playbook to building our own. And the question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you've seen the whole board, what's the first move you're going to make to strengthen your own digital fortress?